14 podcast, and it has been a little bit of a tough week as Toronto Blue Jays fans. Some may argue the worst week of the off season so far, Abe.
You think that it was that bad?
I mean, Corbin Burnes and Teo in the same day.
Yeah. I think I'm just in a different spot than everyone else where I was just thinking, I had some time to myself today, and I came to the conclusion they're just saving money for next year.
Because next year, we're coat posting already.
Yeah, no, I'm there. Yeah. But it's like, okay, let's set the scene a little bit. Vlad and Bo go to free agency about as young as you can get to free agency for two guys.
Yeah.
What if we are just getting in their good graces? We are saving the money to get two of the youngest free agents a nice ticket.
What are you talking about?
We get
what do you mean?
We get our guys back. We have to save the money. We give them the big deals. And the biggest
But that is shown, though, you can't build like a winning. I guess you can build a winning team. They made the playoffs 3 of the
Okay,
last 4 years.
besides Juan Soto, who are the guys you're building around in this current free agent class? Burnes is the only one where I was like, okay, that's pretty flawless resume as to what he is. So Burnes is gone. Okay, whatever. The free agent pitching class next year, if they happen to spend the most money ever in an offseason, the free agent pitching class next year, like BK said, is awesome.
Because you have more guys off the books, right?
Exactly. Like you're saving the money. Bassett's gone, his 20. Yeah, I mean, I just don't think they're going to bring him back after for that. They won't bring him back for 20, but we'll see how that happens. But then you have a ton of guys like I see Michael King, Dylan Cease, who's the fucking righty? Zach Gallen is there too. There's a good pitching class for next season as well. So it sucks right now that as we stand today, we're taking 4th or 5th place for this season. I think
easily.
And I think they're just okay with it. And at this point, I think all we can do is also just kind of be okay with it and have to wait another year where we do the same thing on this podcast where it's like, hey, are we actually going to spend the money? But if we're able to get some deals done, then it'll be okay.
So we're on to 2026 is what you're saying.
We might be on to 27, 28. Yeah.
Oh my God.
We're on the last of 2024 right now. But boy, yeah, it's
not a great club right now. I'll be honest. But how's your weekend? Obviously, you're in Kansas. You got to see the college teammates, the boys. How's that?
I don't think there's anything better than going back and seeing your college buddies. And the only way I get to do it is when someone's getting married. So it's awesome. Yeah, my freshman year roommate is in his 9th and final year of becoming a priest. And if you can put together me and him, the most religious guy they've ever had at it, where he went to a private Catholic university, Division II school. He was my freshman year roommate. He's now becoming a priest, and I do what I do. Very funny. I was the least Catholic guy on the team, and he was the most Catholic guy. I hadn't seen him in forever. That was awesome. My buddy from Japan is in. He's coming to Toronto. After this, you're going to get to meet him, which will be sick. But played golf today, too. Just the Midwest. First of all, they have the most possible chain restaurants you've ever fucking seen. Like, not a single one-off restaurant. They are all chain restaurants and not a public transit within anywhere to get through a city. You have to drive everywhere, and it is littered with fast food.
I will say, what is crazy about the Midwest, and this is just like not like a shot at them, I have never seen people drive drunk more. Like, just
dude,
it being
insane.
Socially acceptable to drive drunk as much as it is in the Midwest. Like, it is insane. There is not even like a second guess of getting behind the wheel after you've had drinks as there is in the Midwest. It's bananas.
Yeah, no, we don't do it. It's the people who grew up here. That's just,
it's like normal.
Yeah. And it's the problem with no Ubers very much. Yeah. And then no transit as well. It is a problem. It is definitely a problem.
You mentioned Ubers. I have a story for the people. So as you know, I went to Clooney yesterday. Shout out. There was a million Gate 14 listeners there. Like, again, if you saw me, I apologize. I was banged up, but thank you for coming saying hi and taking pictures with me. I appreciate that. But anyways, we go to department after and watch this other DJ, and like the clock strikes like I want to say 3:40, and I'm like to my buddy who was DD, like let's just go back to Milton because I can't be here anymore, man. I've been raving, I guess the word is, for the past 4 fucking hours, 5 hours. Like I gotta go home.
It does
So we
get a
get home at
lot.
3:30. He takes me to the gas station. He takes me to the gas station off of the highway so the Uber is easier. We call the Uber. The Uber driver was sitting in his car sleeping in that gas station. In that gas station, waiting for someone to be called. I walk over, get in the Uber. Anyways, this guy's driving me to Guelph. And he is going so fucking slow, has every light on in the dash. So, anyways, he's going slow. There's fog. Anyways, this is at 4:40. We're about a kilometer away from my house. This dude runs over a pothole and demolishes his right front tire about a kilometer from my house. He tries to drive with it for like probably 200 meters. The car is like bouncing, and he pulls over and he's like, oh, I got to get this fixed. I got to call CAA or whatever. So I'm just in the car. I'm like, do you want me to stay here? Like, he's like, if you want to go, you can. So this is at 5 a.m. I'm walking home in the pitch black, like technically hung over at this point, because my Uber driver smashed his fucking tire a kilometer away from my house. I couldn't believe this shit. I was like, in the car, I was like, this car is not supposed to be bouncing like this. And next thing you know, I'm walking home.
Were you eyes wide at that point because you saw his dashboard as
yeah, I saw.
lit
I
up
was
like a
like
Christmas
scared
tree?
for my life, and I was at the point where I was like, I'm either gonna get robbed here or like this guy's just gonna like kidnap me because like this can't be an Uber. Because I get in it, all the windows are down, and he is sleeping in the parking lot of a gas station, and I'm like, this is the weirdest fucking thing I've ever been a part of. I am going to get kidnapped, and I just had a weird gut feeling that I was like, something bad's gonna happen on this Uber drive, and surely this motherfucker decided I'm just gonna snap my tire and make this guy walk home at 5 a.m.
That
So
is
yeah, it was a tough one, but man, I will say, I know I say this after every show I go to, but Clooney was unbelievable. If you are listening to this podcast and you kind of like house music, I recommend listening to like a Clooney set on YouTube. This dude plays bangers. It's like Spanish, house, and like just like a nice groovy text. It's really fucking good. So it was a really cool show. History is the best venue on the planet.
My
And it's not
brother,
even
my brother
close.
said the same thing. He was there too. He
Yeah.
said he was awesome. I had another quick story of when I was in Wichita here.
Yeah.
We went to the rehearsal dinner, and my buddy who was getting married, who I played with, he was like, "Okay, we'll go to this pool bar." I show up to this pool bar. We're there for 20 minutes. Like I tweeted out, 12 Miller Lights for $30. It's like best place in the world. But some guy looks at me, and we get the look in Toronto sometime where someone, when they know they're thinking of us. And he looks at me and
Yeah.
goes, Ave? And Wichita, Kansas is not the place where I expect to be recognized from anything. And I was like, yeah, what's up? Because I thought maybe I went to school with him and I didn't recognize him. He's like, hey, man, love your stuff. But fuck, does Johnny ever piss me off?
That's just what it is,
That is what the guy
unfortunately.
said. I was like, yeah, he's the best, man. And then we went
That's
on our
just
way.
what it is. That's just what it is, unfortunately. That's just what happens with either hate me or you love me. That's just what it is. But
He said it in a nice way though. He's like, fuck, he pisses
yeah,
me off, man.
that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, man. I mean, other than that, it was like a busy week in terms of all right, we're starting to go to like plan D here. What would you say, Avery, as the percentage the Jays signed Santander? Like, what are you thinking here?
50% yes or no. That's where
Okay.
we land. But
That's technically correct. I
I don't
mean,
know who else is like super, super in on him. Can we do the Corbin Burnes talk? I'm ready to do the Corbin Burnes talk.
again, this was the first instance. This is how the Blue Jays and Major League Baseball let the Twitter people, the haters, win because he got offered more to play for the Toronto Blue Jays and didn't sign here. This is the example that negative fucks on Twitter can use now when they want to bring up no one wants to play for Toronto. This is unfortunately what it is. And I didn't even realize like the Arizona Diamondbacks were never even in the mix. Like no one was even talking about them. What? And it made me think of this, Avery. When can we be a mystery team? When could the Toronto Blue Jays be a mystery team on a guy?
Yeah, that would be fun. I want to get to a spot where was so obviously not happening
Yeah.
because I listen to Zoobs talk about this. God, it's good to hear him talk sometimes about just needs to like calm us down insides. But at no point did we ever hear a report that Corbin Burnes wants to play for the Blue Jays.
No.
So at that point, first of all, his offseason home in Phoenix, Arizona, he's going to want to play on an Arizona spring training team, you would guess. That
Yes.
makes life easier for Corbin Burnes. Taxes there too. That was another thing he was talking about. He said he wanted to play for the Giants, and then he ended up sending the call out to the D-backs. The Giants and the D-backs couldn't be further away geographically from where the Toronto Blue Jays play baseball. Like I think that's one of the worst situations when you really look into what actually happened for
Yeah.
the Twitter people to say, hey, you actually won. You offered him the most money. He just didn't want to play here.
When is someone gonna want to play
Why
here
wouldn't he
then?
go back to the Orioles? Like it's not an indictment poorly on the Blue Jays, in my opinion. It's like he just didn't want to be anywhere close to this part of the country to play baseball. And
Yes.
the Baltimore Orioles, they probably didn't offer him a bunch of money, maybe not offered him at all, but they have built the team to get a guy like that they need for the future. This should be more looking at the Orioles. What the fuck are you guys doing? Because that rotation is ass.
Oh, it's terrible. It's terrible.
I don't feel this is bad on Ross Atkinson, Mark Shapiro. I don't.
No, it's not. It's not. It's more than, like you said, an indictment. Big word. It's more of an indictment on when the fuck are we going to get someone that wants to play here? I know we had the Kevin Gossman that took less money. We'll talk about that in a little bit. When are we going to get a guy that's like, I want to fucking play in Toronto?
We have that. We have one of that, and he plays
One of
first
that.
base for our team.
He's not signed.
He's currently under contract, but that's his thing. He's doing the thing that you're asking right now, Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Fair. It just, again, when I saw the notification, it was at, by the way, it was at like 3 a.m. he did this, or 2 a.m. It was late
Yeah,
as
it
fuck.
was late. Yeah,
It was late. And I was like, okay, it makes sense. I mean, you're bringing up good points. It's like there has never, ever, ever been a quote or anything of Corbin Burnes speaking glowingly of the Toronto Blue Jays.
yes,
Not once. It's just Corbin Burnes wants to be in the West Coast, wants to be close to home, and it's a comfortability thing. It's just like a regular job type of thing, man. Like if you could get a job paying the same or close to the same amount of money, close to where you live, you're where your family's at, you're gonna do that job. That's just
yeah,
like the harsh reality of it.
yeah. Phoenix is probably a nicer place to be than Toronto, as much as I.
Arizona's one of my favorite states to go to. I
And you
love it.
live there all year. You can have the same house all year round. It's
Yeah, it's just it's so much better. And again, do I hate Corbin Burnes? Probably. I think I'm wishing nothing but terrible things happen on the baseball field during a season, stats wise. But like, it's just a kick in the dick, man. To be honest with you, because we talked about this multiple times on the show. Corbin Burnes and Santander make this offseason very successful. That's just what it is. I mean, you got a frontline starter and a bat that hit 40,000 home runs last year. It's like, it's just a tough spot to be in if you're a Blue Jays fan because you're the acquisitions you can make now are very slim, right? That's
yeah.
just what it
You
is.
can day by day you can feel 2020. You think to feel 2025 is slipping away, and that's why it's tough. It
Yes.
might not be like you play baseball 162. Crazy stuff happens every single baseball season, and that's what we like to remind it. But as the top end free agents go away, you think this year is going to go poorly. And I can't blame anyone for feeling that way. I feel that way sometimes too. But again, you still have to play the baseball games. Miracles can happen. The 82 win Marlins made the playoffs, and the D-backs went to the World Series, winning 84 games. Like crazy things can happen in this sport. But again, yeah, it just kind of feels slipping away. And the best moves you can make, which are the fun moves, are going to be made by trade.
Yes.
And there is a name of a starting pitcher that has been brought up in trade talks that I think the middle infield The excess middle infielders can be dealt too, and that is Luis Castillo and the Seattle Mariners.
Oh God, you're talking yourself into Luis Castillo.
Why just texted me? He's like, "Hey, can we talk about a Castillo deal?" He talked about another thing as well, but I was out on the golf course today. I don't have my stuff on me. I can't do a lot of research right now, so I'll do that for next week. It'll be he wanted me to talk about a Glasnow for the Pepio DeLuca deal with Bo Bichette. So I'll do that for like every division to try and find some deals with a high upside guy and a guy like kind of a regular. So I'll do that as well. But he also said Luis Castillo, talk about the trade. I need to know how much time Luis Castillo has left on his contract.
I think it's a year or two.
Yeah, he might actually be a free agent next year as well.
Yeah.
Um,
So I don't think you'd be giving up anything really crazy, right, Dave? To be honest.
no, if there's 1 year left, you're not giving up a ton. Let's see here. Oh, he's got time. Never mind. He's got a lot of years left.
How many?
I'm seeing at least till 2027 season.
Really?
Yeah.
So what would you be comfortable giving up for Luis Castillo?
You can give a good amount for Luis.
Like a Elvis?
Yeah, you could probably do that. Like as much as I think Aurelvis Martinez is going to be a good player, that's a move I'm pretty comfortable making here. He is 32, but as we've seen even some of the older guys on the current staff can figure things out. So I think they have him as a UFA with an option in 2028. He'd be a UFA for the 2029 season.
I can't picture a world where he wouldn't want to stay here.
But he's making 24 million. That's 4 million more than Bassett.
But you mentioned it, like I mean, right? Like Bassett gets off the books. That's 20 million right there. You can allocate to Luis Castillo.
And I think baseball, like you want Luis Castillo in your rotation. It's
Yeah,
pretty
obviously.
simple. Like I'd be fine with a Aurelvis being the headlining piece of that because they kind of want people to play right now. They do
Yeah.
have some middle infield pieces that they want to trade from, I think, but Aurelvis being the centerpiece of what the return could be isn't a bad idea.
Yeah, and this is one thing that I've been seeing online. Obviously, the Teoscar thing resulted in a lot of loser posting. Listen, we're a podcast for the fans, by the fans. I'm not going to guilt people for loser posting about losing Teoscar Hernandez to the Dodgers. I'm not going to do that. But I see a lot of people standing up for the front office, and I'll play devil's advocate here in terms of going against the front office, even though people say we're Rogers shills. Again, I guess the front office has made good moves, right, Avery? Like you can look at some of the moves they have made and say they have made good moves. At the end of the day, it's a results-oriented business. This team has 0 playoff wins in almost a decade. That's just what it is. Like people can criticize his front office because they haven't won fuck all. And they have spent a pretty decent amount of money. It's like I see people saying, "Oh, you can't criticize. They've made good moves. Jordan Hicks, all this type of shit." They still have not won a playoff game. Like, why are we giving flowers to a front office that essentially hasn't won anything, Avery? That's my point. And I know you can look at it from both sides. Like, yes, they've made good moves. Like the Chapman trade worked out great. Like, there's tons of trades that worked out great. But at the end of the day, zilch, 0 playoff wins. That's what it is. That's the only thing you can look at. Have they made the dance? Great. It was with an extra playoff appearance with the wild card added, right? But 0 playoff wins. That's what it is at the end of the day, unfortunately. So if you want to criticize the front office, go right the fuck ahead. I'm not going to stop you. I'm right in the middle of it, though. I agree with certain points on the criticizing the front office, and I agree with some points that they've actually done a decent job with moves and signings. You could do both. You could be in the middle of both. But I'm not going to get mad at people for criticizing a team that hasn't won a playoff game in a fucking decade. Almost. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I feel so when we look at the grand scheme of things, I feel like about every move they make is a solid one.
Yeah.
Like a lot of them are fantastic, but at the end of the day, Ross and Mark don't throw the ball and they don't hit in the playoffs. Like they are not the ones up to bat. The team,
but they put together the team that's supposed to do that though.
For sure. And they like the thing is with base, it's so you got to get there first. That's the most important thing. You show over a 162 game span if you're a good team or you're not a good team. I mean, maybe in 22 if they didn't beat the Red Sox 17-1, that was or 17 wins and however few losses, that's a different team. as well. But like you have to get there. They seem to make good baseball moves, just never put together, never at the right time. Things go well for it. And especially if you're going to give them fucking 10 years, people are just going to be out on you. Like you don't get the benefit of the doubt anymore. So it's kind of where I'm at. Like I feel like they've kind of run their course with the people here in Toronto, and the people who run the team are going to hear that, and it's going to be pressing on them as well if this year goes really, really poorly. So yeah, I can find the middle of both of those. Absolutely, John.
Another thing that I wanted to bring up is like the moves in 2023 were a head scratcher, right? I mean, we're talking about a team that is lacking power, great defensive team, great pitching team, and the only bat they traded for at the deadline was Paul DeYoung, right? It's like the
They
Jordan
weren't
Hicks move,
wrong. They were just
awesome.
early.
Well, yeah, we were just early, but the Jordan Hicks move was awesome. Like that was a great pickup for the Blue Jays. He fucking rocked here. But the bat was they needed a power bat. Teoscar was available. Probably didn't have to give up that much for Teoscar. He was a free agent at the end of the year, and he was struggling that season. Like, there's, I guess, hindsight. You can look at, obviously, it's like you can look back on and say they probably should have did something. But the Paul DeYoung pickup, I remember us being mad about that as well when they needed a power bat, right? Like they were in a playoff race, struggling offensively, great pitching team, and they went and just got Paul DeYoung. Like, there's multiple factors that where you can criticize as well. But again, I'm indifferent on it. I'm in the middle of it. I'm not going to criticize like the people for that piece of shit company were criticizing fans for fucking being angry about the front office. That's where I'm at with that. I'm an idiot, brain dead moron, just like majority of the people on Twitter, just like Blue Jays fans. I also have passion with this team that I root for. So yeah, I'm gonna side a lot of the times with the people that are showing emotions online. Like that's just what it is. We're sports fans. You care about the team. You know how many hours you and I spend a year on the fucking Toronto Blue Jays? Do I want this team to be good? Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would
So
be
I can
really
actually
nice.
enjoy the live streams, enjoy doing podcasts, enjoy talking about this team instead of making like sarcastic jokes that we have to make about like a guy like Bradley Zimmer, which is what we did. Like it's just I don't know, man. It's a weird. This is going to be a very weird season. But we talked about last year, like let's be the lucky team that makes the playoffs. Let's talk ourselves into luck in 2025.
God, do we ever need
Hashtag
it?
believe.
Yeah, we need the luck more than about anyone.
It's how did that Teoscar signing feel to you? Again,
He came out the day after of winning the World Series and said I want to be in Los Angeles still.
I
Like it's so if we just take what the people say sometimes and take it for what it's worth, which you can't
yeah,
always do. I think you can do that more with some of the players than you can with some of the front offices.
yeah,
But like as raw as it can get, when Teoscar Hernandez won the World Series, he said he doesn't want to leave. He wants to be back there. So he found a way to make things work and be back in the place that he wanted to be at. Simple. It's so simple sometimes,
yeah.
man. Fuck.
It is.
It did kind of suck. Like I talked myself into I've totally talked myself into him or Santander being back. Just kind of like I thought Jorge Soler was on the team last year before he even signed where he was going to go.
Yeah.
And now we're in the point where yeah, like I can't find myself getting excited for Pete Alonso, even though he's gonna hit tanks. The same thing I want Santander for. Um, Bregman, I can't find myself excited for. This is just how I
There's been
feel.
no reports about Bregman wanting to play here, anyways.
Well, there's the report of his dream infield was everyone on the
Oh my
Toronto
god.
Blue Jays at the time. And it seems like the Astros were out. So it's like, who does want Bregman at this point?
Yeah.
Maybe Alex Bregman's going to be good on the team next year as well. Like that is a move that makes the offense better, makes the defense better. Fuck.
Yeah.
I mean, he won the Gold Glove, right? Pretty great. So
Yeah.
maybe that's what we've overlooked with Alex Bregman, that they want him for his defense, not the bat.
Well, I did see a tweet. Someone tweeted this at me. I forgot who it was, but Corbin. Here's a spin zone. Corbin Burnes had a -6 DRS last year. Would that have took away the chances of the Jays three-peating? Something to think about for sure. But yeah, the Teoscar one sucked, Avery. I'll be honest with you, like it kind of hurt. I mean, in the back of our mind, we knew he was going to LA. And again, if you just won a World Series with a super team, why the fuck
And they're going to
would
get
you want to
better.
come to Toronto? Like, you're in beautiful LA. The weather's awesome all the time. You probably have a beautiful house on the hills with Teoscar, the amount of money you make now. Your family probably loves it. You don't have to fucking deal with just insane rainy days all the time like it is here in April and May. What and you're on a team that just won a World Series. Why the fuck would you come to Toronto?
They won the
Like,
World
I mean,
Series and they got better. They're
yeah,
probably going to be better than they were
they're
last
because
year.
their entire pitching staff's gonna be back.
Yeah, exactly that. And maybe, well, they got Blake Snell too, and then Edmund re-signed, and Sasaki maybe is a
Conforto,
Dodger. Conforto, yeah, yeah, that is kind of interesting. The Conforto and Teoscar,
yeah,
same outfield, but they like to have some fun. And then I saw someone tweeting about today, the Dodgers GM, baseball ops, whatever it is. He said, if you're, I forgot the exact quote. Fuck, I wish I had it up. But if you're rational about every free agent, you're gonna finish third for every free agent. So we want to keep nitpicking, we're not gonna get anyone to
that's a
sign
really
with
good
the.
Quote. I didn't hear that.
Yeah,
That's a really good
I
quote.
think he said it 2016. Friedman came out and had that quote. So
And now look at him. 2 World Series in that time span since that quote.
yeah, and he got Shohei Ohtani, the best free agent ever before the
Who's
next season.
arguably underpaid. Like legitimately underpaid.
Yeah. So yeah, you know what? This week did kind of suck, John. I'll say it.
It was the
I,
worst week of the offseason. Easily.
we didn't get a Christmas transaction, which I felt like we've had the past couple seasons.
Yeah, we had the Varsho one 2 days before Christmas.
Yeah, Varsha one, and then we had Kiermaier or
Yeah.
IKF
Oh,
or
how
one
could
of
you
them
forget Kiermaier?
last year as well. Who's the old guy they're gonna get? Because we're due for an old person
I'm
signing.
trying to think. Like, do we bring the cock back?
Yeah, why has he asked to
It
keep
is pretty
playing?
crazy the cock didn't play last year. The guy had a 138 weighted runs created plus and didn't sign with a team. What?
It's because of his playoff appearance, sadly.
Yeah. The last memory. Last memory is always the best one. You gotta like it has to be the best one. That's
Remember
what
how
you
bad Brandon Belt was at the start of his
Oh
tenure?
my God. We were calling him a terrorist.
No,
I had to delete some videos.
I made a terrorist graphic of Brandon
Yeah.
Belt after St. Louis.
He was a terrorist. To be fair, he was hitting like 100 for the
Yeah,
month, but he also missed spring training. Like, you remember that? Like, you showed up like 3 weeks into spring training and he's 50 years old. Like, that was insane.
that was very funny.
Yeah. So, Brandon Bell forever. But yeah, we have to hit
Okay,
that old guy quota, right?
Goldschmidt's gone. That sucked.
Yeah.
Ghost is gone. Lance Lynn, man, he's the last hope that
You
everyone's
got to
gonna.
stop with this, man.
I can't stop
Is
with it.
Lance Lynn a ground ball pitcher? Because then I could get talked into a Lance Lynn.
I don't know what Lance
Is he a
Lynn is.
ground ball pitcher? If Lance Lynn's a ground ball pitcher, then I'll be like, all right, Avery, I see what you're cooking here. We got a good defensive infield. Maybe.
First thought is he's definitely not a ground ball pitcher. He had a ground ball percentage of 36.3% last year. So no, he is not a ground ball
So I'm
pitcher.
out.
He had a 3.8 ERA. Every time I'm going to talk about this till he signs with somewhere dog shit before the end.
Well, he'll probably be should reunite with the Dodgers, maybe.
But no, they couldn't fix him last time. He's done there. They have nothing good going on with
Fair.
Lance Lynn and the
Yeah.
Dodgers. I would love a
Fair.
transaction soon, man.
I'm
And
craving tea, bro.
it's trade time. You
I'm
have to.
craving tea, man. I got tea fever
Yep.
and I need it.
I'm in the same boat, buddy.
Like I need it bad.
Yeah, no, it's boring. Like this is our last pod of 2024,
Oh, yeah.
and it's just
Happy New Year.
yep. Happy New Year. Exactly.
We will never talk about the year 2024 in Blue Jays land ever again.
No, we won't. Like, fuck, we got no hit.
What happened that was good this year for us? I mean, Bowden probably, and then Vladdy. Like,
Yeah.
nothing fun really happened with this team besides.
Like when I go back and I think of Ronel Blanco, no hitting the Toronto Blue Jays.
That's when we should have probably had a clue that this team sucks.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Yeah.
That's when we probably should have been like, this team might suck. You know?
We should have known on that spot. And that
But
is
then
our
you know
fault
what?
for not
After that, though, we
recognizing.
had the Davis Schneider walk off fucking hater.
That was cool. That was really cool.
It's like they pull you back in somehow, you know?
Yeah.
But
I'm there,
yeah,
man.
I mean, we're the cucks. We're cucks. And you had this tweet earlier today. You mentioned
Oh, Glaber, yeah.
you're tired of the reports of the Jays being in on guys. I've seen some guys on Twitter muting those tweets of like just muting the words Blue Jays and interest, which is kind of a galaxy brain move, to be honest, like just eliminating that from your timeline, which I respect. But I am in the same boat as you, man. Like, just please, insiders, like I'm on my hands and knees, like stop kicking us when we're down. Please stop tweeting the Jays are in on guys. Please.
Yep.
Or interested. Please.
I think they're just doing it as a joke at this point too, because I'm sure other teams.
It's free clicks, to be fair.
I didn't even click the link. Obviously, I didn't
Yeah.
want to. I didn't want to read it. I needed less of it because I thought Glaber. Well, I mean, as soon as Jimenez deal was done, and then Glaber said he didn't want to play for the Nationals for third base, it made sense. Like, obviously, he's not going to come to Toronto, but that was over. The Jimenez is the best second baseman to ever play the position defensively. Like, Glaber Torres is not going to come to Toronto after that. So
Yeah.
maybe we should have just X'd him out. Should have known that. But again, Glaber signing 1/15, whatever that was with the Tigers.
Mm-hmm.
He might not make good money after that. I think it's a bad spot for him to go with that park. But he could have been the next Marcus Semien for a big sheet.
This is where I'm at, and I'd like an update from you because we talked about this. Is Ross Atkins smart or dumb? We don't know. Where are you leaning as of right now?
Calculated is the word I want to use. Stick it to his guns.
Let me tell you something. If that motherfucker is set on a number, he ain't budging. Let me tell you about that. That dude is a toxic girlfriend that will not budge on anything. It's like, where do you want to have dinner? Here. We had that like last week. Can you maybe? Nope. Like, can I maybe get the aux? Nope. Can I maybe go on the bottom? Can you maybe go on top? Nope. That's what Ross Atkins is. He's that girlfriend that just won't budge. It's her way or the fucking highway. And when Ross Atkins has an evaluation on a player, this motherfucker does not move the goalpost. It's we're not overpaying for shit.
Yeah.
Unless it's Kevin Kiermaier last year.
Yeah, no one wants Kevin Kiermaier. Let's give him 10 fucking million.
That was a dumb Ross Atkins move. I'll say it.
Dumb Ross Atkins move. Yeah. The aging curve. We got to hit when they're good, when they're old as fuck, and then get out of there.
Doubled down again after hitting 21 when he doubled down, and then he doubled down again, and he just had 12, and then busted, like just face card. You know, that's what he did, and I fear Ross Atkins this year, maybe third time the charm with KK. He said he wants to be involved with the Blue Jays.
I think Kevin Kiermaier is the most obvious next podcast host. On the Sportsnet radio
Unfortunately,
network.
He's going to be dead to us if he does that.
Yeah. Yes, that will be tough to have to deal with.
I just need Gate 14 Nation to promise they won't switch up on us when Kevin Kiermaier inevitably drops a podcast and gets every single guest. But I don't know if our listeners are like this, but I don't know if I enjoy podcasts with players. Like, maybe someone could comment this or that this is why everyone likes Gate 14, but it's hard for me to connect with them. Like, they'll tell stories, stuff like that, and I'll be like, I can't connect with whatever the fuck you're talking about. You know?
I think it's the shittier players because you still have to be you want to be able to listen to them forever,
yeah,
right?
Like I don't think Kevin Kiermaier would be a good podcast host.
I don't know. I trust Kevin Kiermaier to be pretty successful in whatever he wants to do.
Yeah, but
it's
again,
just think about.
But the thing is, though, Avery, with Kevin Kiermaier, it'll be good for like a month, and then people will be like, the nostalgia's kind of rubbed off on it. You know, it's like,
well, can you see him?
Good.
Can you see him doing Caleb Joseph's role on Sportsnet?
I can see more of that. That makes more sense for me than Kevin Kiermaier being a podcast.
He does he does have a a good face. Like you'd rather see his face than just
he has no idea. I think like the social media stuff would be tough to learn for him. And he's a guy who's one of the greatest outfielders of all time. Like he sees the game a little bit differently. It's kind of hard for him to see it from like he's not going to be calling Brandon Belt the cock. You know, like that's why people like us. We're like relatable people. But yeah, I'm excited to see like what Kevin Kiermaier is talking about. I could probably be on Sportsnet. Maybe he'll be the Manalist.
God damn, the Manalist. What was it? Sunday roast? That was
Sunday
Greg's on.
roast with Greg's on. What a fucking loser that
guy made some big mistakes on his own career.
He
Yeah.
wanted to be Don Cherry so fucking bad. Like, just put the fries in the bag, Greg Zahn.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was also funny. The manalist, uh, Greg
I
Zahn.
I I vaguely remember him doing was it Giordano Ventura thing
Yeah,
and just like total wrong timing for it too.
yeah,
There was a reason he got out as quick as he did because he
yeah.
did
It's
some bad things.
yeah, it's
Don't do
yeah,
bad
it's
things
a
on TV. Don't do bad things ever.
yeah. Just be like a normal human being that's not trying to be like Don Cherry for baseball.
Yeah.
That when Don Cherry was out of the door, by the way, by the
Can you
time
tell
the
the story of Greg's on the baseball facility?
Oh yeah, so I was working at a baseball facility, and Greg Zahn, every time he would coach clinics, he would wear his World Series ring, which again was a weird thing for me. He tried to like alpha me, I'd like just try to say, I'd be like, "Shut the fuck up, man!" Like, again, you made the
Who did he
show
win the World
great,
Series with?
Marlins.
Okay.
Yeah, he was like the backup, I think. So, anyways, he goes to this facility. By the way, this is a facility in Milton, so it's just like a low key facility. Doesn't have tons of money. It's just helping out Milton local kids. He goes up to the owner and goes, "I want to have a baseball school here. Like, I want to run a baseball school." Guy's like, "Okay, cool, but I want 200 G's up front." The guy goes, "Are you outside of your fucking mind? 200 grand for a baseball facility in Milton for Greg Zahn to be the hitting coach at? Are you out of your fucking gourd?" I don't even know if that makes sense, but yeah, crazy story. And that's ever since then I just thought that guy was the biggest loser of all time.
Yeah, that's tough to do. Don't really realize where the money's at in Canadian baseball if that's what you're asking for
Yeah,
at that
200K
point.
for Greg
That's
Zahn.
tough.
Why not?
The one of the biggest misses I think we've had is that we didn't go to Guillermo's. We didn't do a video at the Guillermo Martinez hitting clinic in Toronto. I really, really wish we did that. And I think the second best option is doing a video where we get you in the teacher man lab. We go to New Jersey and we get you a nice hour hitting session with teacher man himself. So I wanted to pitch that to you, John, for a future
I would
content
love to
piece.
do it.
He is so good online. You snap it. It is so funny to see because
I would
so
love to
many
do a lesson
people.
with teacher man. I really would. Yeah, and then speaking about that, the Johnny versus 18-year-old challenge is like it's still in the air. I don't know what's going on here. Again, no disrespect to that Barry team that DN'd me, but it's like a 15U double A. Like it's not the level that I want to be facing against because the trolls in the comments would legit eat me alive. The fact that it's a double A team. I want to go elite. Like again, maybe OBJ in March or something like that when they're ramped up a little bit more. But Johnny versus has to happen. And I think that video will be the greatest video ever produced because either one, I'll show Unk still got it, or
Like, no
oh
offense to 15U double A, and this is what I said to you, Johnny.
yeah,
You played college baseball. Like, you can hit 15U double
yes,
A. I like I trust you to hit 15U double A. I don't even want to see that, to be honest. I
yeah,
want you to like one of the best 15-year-olds in the country. I want you to face, and maybe you'll get out with that, and that'll be very funny. So I think I want it to be the OBJ kid,
yeah. I'd love
March
to do it.
ramped up,
It will
ready to
happen.
go.
We'll get the camera crew there for sure. That'll be a hilarious video. But yeah, we got a nice text from Bassett, by the way, on Christmas. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, he told us that he was doing things totally different this year. And
Yeah.
that's as a superstitious guy myself, him doing a full offseason of everything different than he did last year is rock star shit.
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
like exactly what I would do.
classic Chris
Um,
Bassett. But
but yeah, so
he
anyways,
did
on
send us a nice
Christmas,
message on Christmas. That
on
was
Christmas, he hit us
lovely.
up. Said Merry Christmas, boys, Gate 14 forever. And then said, "Are you guys coming down to spring training?" So essentially just set us a little bat signal
Yep.
for the spring to run it back. Dinner on Seabass, obviously, the multimillionaire. But I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. I'll say it. Shit team or good team, I'm looking forward to fucking spring training. I'll
Yeah.
tell you. The content that comes out of there, and hopefully we have a camera guy with us at this time, so it'll be maybe we'll split it and we'll get Kale to come down with us,
Yep.
or whatever, like whatever, we'll figure it out. But I would love to have a camera guy there so we could just everything just gets fucking filmed, and then he can just cut it up. Because I mean that video last year has 8-something thousand views. Like people love it, the spring training content, and there's players involved in it and stuff, so it's awesome. So We will be down at spring training this year. That's a guarantee.
Johnny, I'm telling you, I felt 16 degrees today, sun shining on my face.
Yep.
The winter in Canada
Oh, it's
sucks.
hell. It's
It's
hell.
not even really hot here, but we got outside, played golf. It is beautiful. And spring training's the next taste of that we get. Sun shining. Don't wear sunscreen because you forget about it. You get burnt pretty much first day out there, and then you just have a great trip. The sun is awesome. So good for your mental health, man.
Yeah, we need it. Let's go on to some listener questions, Dave.
I need you to pull them up. I don't
Yeah,
got the
I can pull them
screens
up.
today. I only have
I'll pull them up.
my laptop, sadly.
Yeah, there's some good ones here. I saw the first one. We can talk about this first. I know it's a baseball podcast, but MJ or LeBron? I'm a LeBron guy. That's just how it'll always be.
I'm a LeBron guy. I never watched MJ play basketball.
Yeah,
LeBron's the best
I'm
basketball player I've ever seen in my life.
is LeBron,
Is
and the
LeBron.
fact that he's still doing it is awesome.
Yeah.
We didn't talk about the conspiracy theory thing, by the way. That was awesome.
Email. So I thought it went to my work email at
Yeah,
first, but then I realized it went to the Gate 14 email.
because we put it in our Instagram bio.
Did we?
Yeah,
Okay, I had no clue about that. I didn't know how anyone found it, but he said that he thought that Ross Atkins and Mark Shapiro were brought to Toronto to have the team leave the city. Incredible stuff from this conspiracy theory. The guy said he was high as balls. It was like
great.
10:40
Love that. Let it
10:40
fly.
a.m. It's like, what?
Can someone teach us how to do a voicemail line?
Oh, voicemail line would be great. We just need like a producer. That's the thing. It's hard for
What do you mean? You can't add it to the Zoom?
um no, I don't think so. I think it'd be like an OBS thing potentially. Like, I don't know
Oh,
how my audio from my computer would get to you. That's why the
that'd
voicemail
be the
thing is
tough one. Yeah,
yeah.
we have
So
to figure
maybe a
that out.
producer would be able to do that easier for us, but we don't have a producer. We have Johnny and Avery doing this
Yeah,
live.
fair.
But voicemails would be awesome. I agree with that.
Who's more likely to throw a no hitter first, Bowden or Burns? History says Bowden.
Yeah,
That's just what it is.
yeah, he's gotten there more often.
What combination of sports teams is the most brutal to be a fan of right now?
Oh fuck.
White Sox, Bears.
White Sox Bears is pretty brutal. And I mean Blackhawks too. Maybe just put Chicago in there.
Yeah, I guess Chicago sports fan. The Bulls suck, too, don't they?
Not sure about basketball, honestly. Not
Yeah,
sure
I
about
think
basketball.
pretty much any Chicago sports team, not named the Cubs, I guess they won a World Series like 8 years ago, right?
Oh,
And
I
they just got
watched.
Kyle Tucker.
Yeah, so Amazon Prime has two awesome things to watch right now. This is a total aside. The Game 7 stuff. The series is called Game 7, but I watched the Cubs, Cleveland. It was the Indians, obviously, at the time. I watched that one. It's like a 50-minute doc on just that Game 7. Fantastic. And then the Chiefsaholic Amazon Prime
Yeah,
documentary. I
really
forgot to
good
tell you
shit.
this. An insane watch. 2 hours,
It just,
well
I,
worth your time.
I watched it on Christmas Day.
It was
That's how
so
good it was.
yes, the Chiefsaholic documentary on Amazon Prime is good. I also realized I need to be on my phone less. I I don't even get to watch movies. Like if I watch movies on my TV, I'm on my phone the whole time. I don't even pay attention. But when you get on the flight, you can finally pay attention. I enjoy movies. So
Yeah,
less phone in 2025 is one of my
that's not
goals.
going to be followed, but it's a good try for
I
sure.
will try, but that's part of my goal. It's kind of hard for what we do to be on our
Yeah.
phones less and
Mhm.
not constantly scrolling feed, but we're in on that.
So someone says it's time to stop looking outward and spend on the stars of now, Bo and Vladdy. What are your thoughts on that?
Amen. Great, great thought. I did not see that one, but
Yeah, and then
I
you can get
think
younger, right? Because some of the guys that are older come off the books in 1 or 2 years, like Springer, Gossman, Bassett, like all those guys come off the books, so you can actually build around Bo and Vladdy, run that shit back again because they're still fairly young, right? So
they're very young.
yeah,
That they'll be the youngest free agents in the class. Like
yeah.
those are the guys you want to lock up.
A lot not looking good in Blue Jay land. I would like to just thank Johnny for saving Christmas. I went on and bought a hell of a good chip dip, and it saved my Christmas. You're welcome, Michael. Rank the three big sports teams in Toronto based off how popular you think they are. I think it goes pretty clear. It's um, Leafs, Jays, Raptors.
That's how I would have put it. I don't really
Yeah.
know how. Maybe the Jays might be third in the city, but
Yeah.
yeah, Leafs obviously far and away number one.
Yeah. Someone said best Ken Burns documentary. That was Mr. Baby. Don't know who Ken Burns is. My biggest concern is Dome from Home coming back. It's a good concern to have.
It's back,
Do
unfortunately.
we turn
Nothing we
that?
can
Do
do.
we reverse the curse next year though?
It would be really funny to win every single Dome from Home game in 2025. Just be the best afternoon, worst game time in the history of the world team.
This is a good question here. How would you feel about the Jays signing Jack Flaherty?
Totally indifferent. Like I would want a bridge deal that no one wants to give Jack Flaherty money, and we'll give him the 1 year to see if he's really worth
I like that,
shitting
Abe.
in.
I like
Yeah.
that.
Like I don't want to get in for a long time on Flaherty, if we're being
Yeah.
honest.
Here's the next one. If Vladdy isn't extended and selects free agency, I believe he will not be a Blue Jay in 2026. Thoughts? Secondly, can you guys take a look at the FA pictures for next season? We just did that. Yeah, I mean, it makes tons of sense for Vladdy. He's gonna be the best bat next year in free agency. Him and Kyle Tucker. The dude's gonna get a fucking bag. Of course he's gonna wait. You're like, again, that's just how the business of baseball works, unfortunately. And Vladdy wants to stay here. And for the tough part is you have to you have to overpay now.
Yeah.
That's just what it is,
Oh,
right? Like
they're long past the
yeah.
the way of getting a fair market deal on them. It's overpay for sure.
Uh, Doc asks, "What is the URL of the Zoom meeting?" We just took place in that. JR answered a question about AEW. I'm not quite familiar with that. Someone said, "I'm choosing to be optimistic about this year. Players in the contract year tend to have better numbers, and there's a few bluebirds looking to get paid." Thoughts? Bassett's in the contract year.
Yep.
Vladdy contract year. Bo contract year. Do we just do the full blown Marcus Simeon for the entire team?
That would be awesome. Maybe we should just only give out 1 year deals if that's how things go.
Someone said, "Who do you think will be the closer?" We already answered that. Someone said, "At what point do you accept that this is just another lost off season?"
We got there as
We
well.
already got there, unfortunately. That's the really tough part. Someone said, "Is re-signing Vladdy enough to get higher level free agents?" I think so.
I think so too.
I think that's a big one. Why wouldn't you want to pay with Vladdy, the best first baseman in baseball?
Yep.
Someone asked, "Should we be the 51st state?" uh,
Fuck. The only thing that would be good
is
for
the
is like,
signing of the free agents.
yeah, and the Canadian dollar for me personally. That would be nice if we made
Yeah, it'd be
American
good to
dollars.
not be like legit poverty level when we go to the U.S.,
Yo,
right?
my God, I'm wearing it right now. I'm
Yeah,
seeing.
it's tough. It's real tough.
Yeah.
Um, this is a good question. Does it make sense to go after any of the remaining big free agents or sign short-term players to trade at the deadline to build a farm system back up? That's a good question.
Yeah.
Who would be a short-term guy though? Like you talked about the bridge deal with Flaherty. Would that be one of them?
No, is Mark Canna like is that
Oh
what
my
he's
God,
talking
Avery. Come
about?
on. Come on.
I know, but that's another guy.
Okay, I like this question. Is a Vladdy extension this offseason enough to call it a successful offseason? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think so. I
You think of
mean,
Vladdy re-signing?
yeah, like we're talking about it now. Vladdy resigning makes this a successful offseason, sure, because you just take it from next offseason. Because if you sign him next year, you'd also think it's a successful offseason, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You still do want the other pieces, but at this point, with all the fans going after it, like everyone, that's what the fans want. So I think you could say that.
In my mind, though, it still might kind of like hurt a little bit, you know? Because I like new players.
I
I
also
like
like new
fresh
players.
blood.
Yeah, but Vladdy's so young still.
Yeah.
It
No,
it's
I
different
agree with
than
you,
me
Avery. I'm
than
just saying.
than Tay
I,
Oscar.
yeah. I'm just saying. It's like it would be kind of cool to talk ourselves into a new player, you know?
For sure. But that's
Um,
I like that through trade, not by free agency, if we're being
this is a good
honest.
question from Tim Randa. By the way, Tim Randa, love you, man. Gate 14 rider forever.
He's
He's
the
our
best.
guy. What about the team gives you positive vibes coming into the next season?
Pretty much nothing.
Well, Vladdy, fully
Bo,
healthy Bo.
like I just feel like the starting pitching is bound to regress, no? Like everything, all the predictive stats want to say is that the starting pitching is going to regress. And that to me is concerning. Again, you can outperform like predictive stats for sure, and things can go super well. So yeah, I'm just kind of concerned generally.
Yeah.
We don't have very proven outfielders. That's
Yeah.
another
Except
issue.
Varsho.
Well, like while Varsho's out,
Yeah.
there's not.
Springer though.
Yeah,
Springer back to center? Question mark.
yeah. Last time he played center, things went well.
Yeah.
For all I can remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't have a ton of hope. It's like the hope needs to lie in the young guys taking a step, wanting to be there. Lo Perfido showing he's a stud. Will
Yeah.
Wagner the leap again, and then Bo showing that he's as good as we
Ah.
know he can be. Yeah, we
Why
have.
does Avery not want to sign Pete Alonso?
I just think he's a goober, man. Honestly, that's where I land with Pete Alonso. That's yeah. I think he's a goober.
Should we still add more reinforcements for the bullpen or starting pitching? I think bullpen's the biggest one. Tanner Scott, he's still out there.
Jeff Hoffman's still out there, right?
Yeah. I I I really want Tanner Scott. He's so sick.
He is good. Very good. Numbers are awesome.
How many cucks do the Jays front office have? I'm not sure. Probably a decent amount based off what's going on so far. A lot of people are saying we should get a voicemail line. It's a great point to bring up, to be honest with you. Once we figure out that, that'll be electric.
That would be awesome.
Will we honestly ever sign a big free agent, or is George Springer the last one?
I mean, we can't be.
I really hope George Springer's not the last one while we're doing this podcast. But Vladdy, to me, re-signing him is signing a free agent. That's where I'm at with that. A big free agent.
Couldn't agree more, buddy.
That's where I'm at with that. What do you guys think the best course of action now is? I think we already talked about this. Vladdy re-signing. It's the biggest one. Is it okay for Shotguns to be cucked? Yes. That is all the questions. I mean, we had 70 of them, but a lot of them were repetitive. Anyways,
I have another thing I want to go through
let's hear it.
that I tweeted this out. And
Yeah.
it's about the state of the bullpen.
Yep.
I wanted to tell you guys why just got me on this as well about home run to fly ball ratio and why this team with a little bit of better luck could be better in the bullpen. So home run to fly ball ratio, like I explained in the video, not many people saw it, but that's fine. It's how many home runs you give up per fly ball. So if you face 25 hitters, 10 of them hit fly balls, and you give up one home run, 10% home run to fly ball rate. The league average home run to fly ball rate, usually just below 10%. And these home run to fly ball ratios vary a ton year over year. So they're not a ton of predictive value. So if you have a huge home run to fly ball rate, you've experienced some bad luck mostly. Last year, the Toronto Blue Jays relievers gave up the worst home run to fly ball ratio in all of baseball at 14.8%. That was almost 2 full percentage points worse than the Colorado Rockies. Like a team that plays
Holy
at Coors Field, the Blue Jays relievers were worse than. I filtered some things out, and if you filter relievers with a minimum of 30 innings pitched, 3 Blue Jays find themselves in the top 6 of worst home run to fly ball ratios. Brendan Little was the worst, 35%.
That is ridiculous.
Eric Swanson third at 26.8%. Zach Pop sixth at 21.4%. If we want a bonus appearance, Nick Sandlin was 12th in this as well. So the Blue Jays went out and acquired a reliever who would have made this number even fucking worse for the Blue Jays this upcoming season. I think the Brendan Little breakout is bound to happen this season because the only way to limit home runs, not giving up fly balls. If
Yeah.
you don't do that, if you get a lot of ground balls, you're not going to give up home runs. And with that filter on, 30 innings pitched last season, Brendan Little had the highest ground ball percentage of all relievers in baseball at that point. 70% ground balls, but he also led baseball in home run to fly ball ratio. I think it's an easy breakout for Brendan Little. So I think Eric Swanson, again, if you look at his 4 years that he's been like a true staple, 9.6%, 5.2%, 10.7%, and then last year, 26.8%. I trust him to get back. and Zach Pop just gives up a ton of home runs. I don't know about
We know
Zach.
that, unfortunately.
I don't know about Zach Pop, but if these home run to fly ball ratios normalize over a season, maybe this bullpen will be a little bit better. The ERA won't be as inflated, and they can be better here in
Yeah.
2025. So we have to pray to get that home run to fly ball ratio down. Pray for that. That's your New Year's resolution. Less
Yeah,
home
that's our
runs.
New Year's resolution. Let's
Let's
go to
give
new.
up.
What's a New Year's resolution for you?
Personally,
Yeah.
like be less fat. Like just get my life kind of under control, you
I'm
know?
talking just fire the gym, man. 5 times a week, 4 times a week. It makes a
I
crazy
know, but
difference.
it's like, where the fuck am I gonna do that? Like I sleep half the time in Toronto, half the time in Georgetown. It's like I just need to stop making excuses, just find a place to do it, you
I
know?
mean, does your girlfriend's condo have one?
I believe so. So that there it is there.
Walking also helps a shit ton. Like 10,000 steps a day. If you have a goal of that, like that's, I mean, fucking Frank the Tank lost 1 trillion pounds.
Yeah.
Like,
I just get worried on my deal with my health better. That's the next
there.
step.
Yeah,
Resolution.
I'm the opposite. I want to get more unhealthy. Like I want to take up vaping.
I don't know, maybe I want to read more, maybe learn some
No, no,
shit.
let's not get crazy.
No,
Let's not get crazy.
I like
With
reading though.
reading.
I have no problem doing that.
My
Like
New
me,
Year's resolution actually this year, I'm trying to think, is to
I have a New Year's
is to
resolution
not
for
let internet commentators or commenters hit me.
I
That's our
have a that
they've
was
bullied me into
my
getting Invisalign. Now my teeth are like I'm actually you kind of they're starting to look way better.
yeah.
Um, I'm not letting them get to me anymore or
That would
less.
have been my resolution for you too. You gotta stop punching down. You don't need to
Yes.
do it. You know, those people make you so angry.
Yeah.
Get less angry at the
Yeah.
people
But
that
that's Mudboy. The OG Gate 14 listeners remember Mudboy.
no, Mudboy
Um.
hasn't changed at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have way
Yeah.
more followers than you used to.
Yeah. But yeah,
It's
like
the
just yeah
same person there.
that's a couple good New Year's resolutions. But
Do you have a New Year's resolution for Mark and Ross? Or maybe someone on the Blue Jays?
uh take a risk.
Make a change.
Like I really don't know. I don't like I don't, what do you think Ross Atkins would say is his New Year's resolution? Not get fired?
Yeah, well, it's not a resolution. That's a prayer
A
at
goal
this
like
point. Yeah. I have a New Year's resolution for Bo Bichette.
what
Let's
is it?
hit some home runs.
Be a pop guy.
Yep. Um, I have one for Addison Barger. Like, learn the strike zone a little bit better. That's his resolution for this year.
Yeah.
Just a little more strike zone knowledge, and he can be better.
It's fair.
I have one for. I don't have one for Zach Pop. Just yeah, less home runs will
Yeah.
be his.
Zach Pop is I'm not really trying you know what? I'm trying to be nicer, Zach Pop.
Let's be
I'll take
nice
it
to
easy.
Zach Pop next year.
That's a New Year's resolution. Our
Yes.
own Canadian-born player. Be nice to
Yes.
Zach Pop.
Yep.
I'm sure you can give us a reason to be nice. That's fair. But yeah, anyways, I know we probably will not be doing a podcast for New Year's because this team is Ross again, he's on vacation until the 6th. So we know that. So enjoy your New Year's, be responsible, don't drink and drive, don't be a fucking moron idiot going into the new year. Be responsible, drink responsibly, and enjoy the New Year's, man. I mean, time flies. Time fucking flies. So enjoy it while you can and be smart. That's our goal. That's our New Year's resolution for you guys. And respect your colleagues, respect your friends. Tell your friends you love them. That should be a New Year's goal for you is to be nicer to your friends.
I like that. It's really good.
So there you go. There you have it. The last Gate 14 episode ever in 2024. We went off with a bang. Love you guys. Gate 14 forever. Make sure you guys like and subscribe and comment. And let's have ourselves a 2025. Why not us?